We live.
Yeah, I know something wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, we are live.
Yeah, man, that's the crunkest show in the country. I don't know. I think my Bluetooth went off or something, man. But we gonna do this thing. Y'all hold up, cause we gotta have our theme music, man. We gotta have our theme music.
Bluetooth connected.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the crunkest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone, minus the technical difficulties. I want to say what's up to my man Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general, Cardi and Megan. Down in Texas, say they got bucket naked at the Grammys, man. There was some funny stuff going on, but we're going to talk about it tonight. Is the industry really just pimping these girls? Let's find out. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. You know, without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time out to come and hang out with us on the Crunkest Show in the history of talk shows on Facebook and YouTube. Say, man, it ain't snowing in Minnesota, but it's cold as hell. But the streets is hot. The streets is hot. I'm excited because I booked somebody today that wants to be the congresswoman, wants to take Sheila Jackson Lee's place. It's gonna take a little time, but wants to take her place. She's 9 years old. And if you listen to this child speak about politics, it's gonna blow you away. She coming Friday, man. I call her the little congresswoman. I told her I'd be glad to vote for you. Donovan, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the War Zone. You know, we got to have our theme music. Every great superhero has to have his theme music with him, so the general can't do without. Tuesday, now, here's the thing. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about the $15 an hour now that it's out. Now you guys are concerned about it? If it's going to take another bill to do it, why didn't you just leave it in the first place? Why are we going and doing something 2 times over when you could have done it the first time? And then if you hadn't heard my man Moscow Mitch today, he said if they take that filibuster out of the Senate, he's gonna burn this motherfucker down. Paraphrasing. Demetra?
He ain't gonna bust a grape. So anyway, how you guys doing tonight on this Tuesday night edition of the War Zone? I hope everything is going fabulous for you. But if you could do us a favor and please share this live so that everybody else can get the information and join in on the conversation, we would greatly appreciate it. And we'll dance at your wedding. I don't know about all of that. But so tonight we are going to talk about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch the Grammys on this past Sunday, but they both put on a performance that left a lot of people raising their eyebrows. We won't show it here due to copyright stuff, and you know, it might be some kids watching, so we don't want to subject them to that. But just know that they were doing some bumping and grinding, for lack of better words, on each other. Some people know the technical term that they were doing as scissoring each other. I mean, I'll let you guys Google that, if you will. But yeah, so this was prime time television where everybody from every demographic and age group watched the Grammys. And so they thought that was a good idea to have Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion doing some pretty raunchy things. And so I've also seen a lot of publications, one of those being Yahoo News, saying it was one of the greatest performances. It won the night, is what it said. And so we're going to have a discussion about that, and anything else you guys want to talk about, throw it in the comment section. But we're going to talk about why and like what's really going on with the Grammys deciding to air that. Gary?
I'm not a big Grammy fan. Never have been. Not a big American Music Award fan because they reward the culture the wrong way. The Grammys have always discriminated against rap music. I remember when Will Smith won his first Grammy, they did not want to air it, on TV, and he refused to come. And he made the comment that forever resonated with me. He said, I'd rather get a Soul Train Music Award than a Grammy. I mean, when you think about the Grammys, how in the hell does Nas never win a Grammy in 26 years? One album, Illmatic, one of the greatest albums ever been created, and you don't even respect this man enough to reward him with a Grammy. Then you think about it. How many Grammys has Nicki Minaj won? And I'm not even a fan.
He finally did get one this Sunday, though. He finally did get one.
Who, Nicki?
Nas.
Yeah, Nas finally got one after 26 years. But how many has Nicki won? I'm not a Nicki fan, but they pick and choose who they want. And it's been said behind the scenes that basically you buy your Grammys. You buy your Grammys. And that's, I think the best part of that whole weekend is the Clive Davis party that he's been having for decades. It's a pre-Grammy party, the party where back in the day, Clive used to introduce new acts. And it was the one of those parties where he introduced the world to Whitney Houston. So, I think that is the culmination of it. I think the Grammys are just what they are. I think they're biased. And when it comes to female hip hop artists, some of the greatest to ever do it have never received Grammys. And, I'm just not a big Grammy fan. Donovan?
Yeah, I stopped watching award shows years ago. KRS-One, I think it was, that said award shows is for pimps and hoes. And I really saw, just like what you were saying, they don't give credit to the artists that actually deserve it. It's more of, especially the way the industry is now, it isn't like you're the DJ and you break a record or you break an artist in, they sell millions of records based on, their talent and what the production, all that stuff like that is. Now, these artists go around and they pay off the record company or the radio station to put in a computer list. The DJs aren't even playing the music, because if you listen for about an hour, you're going to hear the same songs recycled over and over and over again. So I don't really put a lot of credibility when it comes to the Grammys. But when it comes to the culture of rap and hip hop itself, yeah, I'm with everybody else. You know what? Let's have our own award shows. Let's do our own stuff, because that's the only way we're going to get recognition. I mean, I'm from the West Coast. To me, 3 of the top all 10 rap albums of all times was produced by Dr. Dre. Depending on how you want to look at it. But I know he's got 2 to 3 of them right in there. So, within our own culture, we got that. But then somebody's going to sit there and tell me Eminem, and he's a talented guy, is one of the greatest rappers of all time. I digress.
Well, I want to say this, just keeping in with Megan and Megan Thee Stallion. Oops. I'll turn my phone off. Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. I did watch the Grammys. Al is into that stuff, so I watch. Other than that, I don't watch TV at all. But the one thing that I took away from that is nobody else had they woman up there doing what our women were doing. I didn't see no white woman. I didn't see no Mexican women or Asians and whoever else would have performed. I didn't see any. Now, there was one girl, Dua Lipa, I think her name is. She had on like a bra top and, see-through pants, whatever. It wasn't nothing over the top. It was Grammy stuff, right? But I didn't see anybody else's woman doing the things that our women were up there doing. Our women being Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I didn't see anybody do anything close.
Liar Cohen.
Liar Cohen, because I heard Damon Dash call him liar. So, but they have our women doing the most salacious and gutter disgusting things, and they get praised for doing that. But did y'all not find that weird that nobody else's woman was gyrating and unclothed and and saying the most disgusting things? Why do y'all think that is? Because they don't want their women doing that. It's easy for us, for them to have our women out there turning tricks, because to me that's what it is. Turning tricks for however much they're making. But what people fail to realize, if they was to study history, look up Sarah Baartman. Sarah Baartman was put back in the day, was put on display by white men. She had extra large body parts, which most Black women do, right? But hers was, extraordinarily larger. And they paraded her all over the world, doing the most heinous things to that Black woman, raping her and just, making money off of her on display, all of that. And then here we are, our Black women voluntarily sign up for what she did not want to do so many years ago. It's crazy to me.
Well, how y'all want it, real or sugar coated? Pussy sell records. When you're in the game, they teach you to make records for women. That's why you get the.
But let me ask you this, because I hear what you're saying, that Kitty Cat sells records, but why is it that the formula for white female, and I'm not talking about Madonna, because I know a lot of people bring up Madonna. Even Madonna wasn't as bad. I don't think she was as what we've seen tonight. Now, Madonna did do some revolutionary things. But why doesn't that formula apply to white artists or Mexican artists?
Black people are visual. This is what we've been taught in the industry. They're visual. And anything that centers around dope and sex, they gravitate to it. And that's why it's not an issue. I mean, Angela Thompson says something we finally agree on. Sex sells records. It sells records, but here's the problem. Remember, there was a nice young lady in Houston that blew up a year or two ago, Lizzo. They used her size as a means to try to make people believe that everybody was discriminating against her. They put out there half naked. Same thing. If I'm right or wrong, y'all tell me. If I'm wrong, tell me. They put out there half naked. Sex sells records. How many she sold in the last 6 months? Because when they finish using your ass, they throw you away. The industry has never been kind to female rappers. Nicki is the last of a dying breed. You see what I'm saying? Before you had Nicki, you had Kim. You see what I'm saying? But even Kim phased out after a while, because it just gets to a point you're only as good as your last record. And the thing is they're exploiting these girls who don't have a problem with the self-exploitation because they're getting a little money out the deal. Now, contrary to popular opinion, they're not getting the money you think. No. They're not getting anywhere near the money you think. But they don't have a problem exploiting themselves. I think it's low self-esteem issues, if you ask me. They get out there and do all this shit. I don't give a damn. I just saw a record a few months back with Queen Latifah, Jadakiss, and Bun B. The Queen go hard as anybody, but she wasn't half naked. You see what I'm saying? People like Lizzo and Megan don't end up getting the movie deals because they take their clothes off before they get the deal. People like Latifah she'll get the deal because she didn't take her clothes off. So her career will stand the test of time because she'll always be relevant. And people like Megan, who has a great body, you're not using the head that your mama gave you for sure. You letting these people fuck over you.
Yeah, you know, and to your point about Queen Latifah, MC Light, she emceed the Grammys. And so to that point, they have longevity. Like I said, Queen Latifah's got a national show, and she's had, you know, plenty of other endorsements and shows and movies, and, you know, Eve even, you know, they were able to take it farther. And I see somebody mention, you know, Adina Howard and Foxy Brown. And so really my question is, where do you go from there? After you've scissored Cardi B on a national stage in front of the world, like where else is there for you to go? I think of Amber Rose. I don't know if you remember, Gary, when she was on Instagram and she decided to show her whole little coochie, if you will, on Instagram, and they, you know, took it off. She hasn't really been relevant since. Now, I'm not on Instagram, so I don't know. Maybe she's Instagram famous still. I don't know. But it's like, where do you go from there after you've shown the world what you're not supposed to show the world? Like, who wants to take you seriously after that point?
You realistically take your ass back to the projects. Look at the successful record labels, indie labels, major labels that have had female rappers. Where are they at now? One of my favorite of all time, she never disrespected herself, was Mia X from No Limit. But when the game was over, it was over. You had to go back to what you were doing. You see what I'm saying? So that told me right there the money wasn't what it was supposed to be. You wasn't making, you don't make the money that you're supposed to make as an artist. You know, Cardi's first album, people say, well, she went diamond. That means she sold 10 million albums. But I guarantee you that paperwork don't reflect that she went diamond, because it was her first project. Your first set of paperwork is always designed to fuck you. It's gonna fuck you every time. And it's sad because they have so much talent. Jay-Z knows it. Was your motherfucking wife up there half naked? But he don't have a problem putting her up there half naked. But she'll run her course, and then when it's over, then you go back to what you were doing. Like DJ Charisma says, it's a good example. Black China has a whole show of herself showing herself. It's like a porn star series. But that's where you go to when the game ain't been kind to you no more. You might as well go get your OnlyFans page and show your neck at that point.
Yeah, so, you know, that's the question. You know, where do you go from there? I mean, you burnt out. You've left nothing to the imagination. And, you know, my daughter's a millennial, so I have heard, you know, Megan Thee Stallion stuff, Cardi B stuff. And I'm like, is it me, or are they talking about the same thing in every song, just to a different beat? I mean, how many times can you talk about, you know, effing and sucking and twerk? Like, how many times? Like, all right, already, we get it. What else do you have? You know. And I know Maxine Waters tried to make Megan to validate her by saying, you know, I think what word? The audacity. I think that's audacity. It's like, really, you was a great grandma lady. The last thing you should be doing is patting that behavior on the back. And I wonder what she has to say about, you know, this performance. And let's not forget that Joe Biden had Cardi B, you know, try to talk to, I don't know, the voters twice. Is that who he's? But let me rephrase that. So look at the caliber of people that Joe Biden thought should appeal to Black people. Cardi B, not once but 2 times.
I'll say this here, that you say what makes them do it. I tell you the simplest answer to that. When you have no control over your creative control in your career, you'll do exactly what they tell you to do. That's what you get paid to do. You can see the ones who have creative control because they end up battling their record labels and saying, well, nah, we're not going to put this out. But, some labels is just crazy. I mean, I give you an example like DJ Quick. When he got sick of Profile and he started running with Death Row, he had one album to do, but it was at Profile's discretion. They held this boy for 10 years because they would not approve the last album. They would not approve his last album. They wouldn't clear it. So when you have no creative control over your projects, this is what you do. And at the end of the day, can somebody, and I'm going to say it again, can somebody go find Lizzo? Because once they done with you, they done with you. And Megan, I want to send you word that they not telling you the unwritten rules. Here's the unwritten rules of the game. When you're from the South and you fall off, they ain't fucking with you no more. Now watch this here, because Dimitri, you like music. When Snoop fell off, he came back. Didn't he come back? West Coast. Dudes on the East Coast fall off. They come back. Am I right? 50 fell off, he come back. Name me one down south that fell off and came back. When you fuck it off the South, you don't come back, Megan. When they get through with you, you're going to be just like Just Britney. You're going to be back on a stripper pole with your degree in your hand.
Yeah, and you're right. And when you say they come back, we know Snoop is a conglomerate. There is not a place that Snoop has not touched, whether it's his voice, his acting, or whatever. Snoop has come back, and we know 50, his story, he's come back, and he's got a lot of TV shows and things like that. But I guess, I'm not sure what the men have to do, but we see the women, being put out there on the stroll for the most part. There's nothing left to the imagination at all. I mean, they're doing men, they're doing girls. At least they talk about it.
Didn't Cardi say she doesn't allow her child to listen to her music?
Yeah, because what happened was she was listening to WAP, and her daughter somehow got loose from wherever she was and walked in, and she hurried and scrambled and turned it off. Now, a lot of people say that was responsible parenting, and I agree. But I'm like, wasn't that telling that it's okay for your baby to listen to WAP, but it's not okay for her baby to listen to it? Because Madonna was the same way. Madonna says she wouldn't allow her kids to watch TV at all. But yet, she was doing the things that she was doing in her music and all of that. So it's like, it's okay for your children. But again, I think Cardi and Madonna were onto something. We are being responsible parents by making sure our children aren't seeing things they should not be seeing. Unfortunately, how many people's children were propped right there on Sunday night watching the Grammys and not having an idea that your children were going to be watching two grown women, Black women, scissor each other on the stage?
Well, let me tell you something. And this is just straight up how I feel. If she could run and grab her child and make sure her child didn't hear that record, then bitch, what's wrong with you? It ain't good for nobody. I'm just calling a spade a spade. And that's all it boils down to. It ain't good for your child, but you can poison the minds of everybody else's child. You can influence them to go grab stripper poles and all that bullshit. But it ain't good for your child. Yeah, she really needs therapy, ignorant ass.
Well, let me say this. This type of behavior has been co-signed on by our elected servants. As you guys know, Maxine.
Hold on, Donovan. It's a little hard to hear you. I don't know if you need to come closer to the mic or.
Oh, sorry. When that thing went off, I had to jump on it. But this is one of those days, huh? Malfunctions everywhere. But anyway, let's be real about this. Didn't Congresswoman Maxine Waters say that what Megan Thee Stallion is doing is empowering young Black women and
And Donovan is having some technical difficulties. It might be the weather or something out there. Hopefully he unfreezes. It happens. But yeah, I mean, I think it's very telling. A person won't let their children listen to the garbage that they're making. And I don't care what nobody says, you know, because I know especially a lot of young women, I see them defending it. Oh, you know, why are people so uncomfortable with sexuality and women expressing themselves and all of that? But I'm here to tell you, it's pure garbage. Garbage.
I think there's a double standard. There's a double standard to me. Because we're gonna keep it 100. You ain't got no problem with Cardi talking about sucking dicks, drugging dudes, you know, ass pussy. But let Gary Monroe write a song about her sucking my dick. Watch how much backlash I'm gonna get. So if she puts herself out there like that, then why is it that if we call her a bitch, it's a problem? We talking about a Cardi B who has talked about drugging men's drinks in songs. And we don't have a problem with that. I love the culture. I grew up in the culture. And they're taking so much away from it right now. But they don't give a fuck. The record labels making all the money. They get to live the lifestyle. When I sit down with a major record executive, I sat down with Tamika Wright, Eazy wife, in Copeland's, in New Orleans. You ready to have this big house and the cars in your driveway? I'm ready for you to write a check. Because I already got a big house and I got 4 cars in the driveway. So you couldn't pimp me. But the one thing that I'm not going to do, I'm not going to degrade myself in a song for a fucking record executive. I'm not going to do it. And I won't allow my children to do it. You know, you think about the program we created at the school. That's not something we teach them. No, you don't have to degrade yourself. You can keep your clothes on and be the coolest female rapper to ever live. But you ain't got to get naked and be no motherfucking thought, no hoe to sell no goddamn records.
And let's bring another character into this conversation. Mr. Pepe Le Pew. They done canceled Pepe Le Pew. And you know who was behind that? Charles Blow, a black columnist. They done got rid of Pepe Le Pew, but yet these two heifers is rolling around stage scissoring each other in front of the whole world. And I went on Charles Blow's Twitter and I didn't see him mention anything, you know, about Cardi or Megan, but you want to cancel the goddamn cartoon skunk? Like what are we not?
So if we gonna cancel the skunk, we need to cancel Miss Piggy. She used to beat the shit out of Kermit. She used to beat the fuck out of Kermit. We need to cancel the Three Stooges. Mo was beating the fuck out of everybody else that wasn't named Mo. That's male on male violence. If you want to get rid of some Mo, what the fuck did Tom do to Jerry? If we gonna start getting the cartoon characters, we gonna have to dig deep. But we ain't got nothing on our hands but time to try to cancel a fucking skunk.
Yeah. So I mean, it's craziness. Like we think we all have these days where we're like, man, I thought I saw it all. But when I saw Pepe Le Pew trending and he's getting canceled for being a sexual harassment and rape culture, I was like, this, now I know the Twilight Zone.
If we're going to start fucking with TV, cancel the syndication of the Jerry Springer Show. Cancel the syndication of that shit.
And Maury.
But see, you go get a skunk. Because the skunk black. Like I ain't figured you motherfuckers like the skunk had a little white in. The skunk was interracial. So you went got rid of the wiggle of cartoon characters. But you won't do nothing about that motherfucking pig that was beating that goddamn frog up every day. I had a problem with that shit, traumatized me.
That makes me
Ain't gonna be
wonder. Back in the day, what happened to those cartoons? That I read a editorial where they're saying those cartoons that we grew up on were violent, and they made a certain premise that isn't acceptable in society today. But if you look at our generation, which kind of takes over what our parents' generation was, we follow our parents more so than our kids follow us. You don't see us going in the stores shooting up, places, and you don't see us really out there whopping it. We had our people that said certain things, but it was, implied. It wasn't really actually seeing it in full vulgar motion. Now, I didn't watch the Grammys. I saw clips, and I'm just like,
Don't you think that Miss Piggy is kin to Derek Chauvin? How many times did that motherfucking pig put a knee on Kermit's neck?
Or a chop. Chopped to his throat.
That motherfucker should be arrested right now. And I'm going all out to have the pig arrested and charged with attempted murder for doing that shit to that innocent frog.
Yeah, because every time she got mad or she didn't get her way, she was chopping people. I mean, I think there was an episode where she did it to Sylvester Stallone during Rocky III hiatus, and he came on the show and she just chopped the hell out of him. So where are the assault charges when it comes to that?
I just think that the people that did this, I don't know who did it, Demetri. Are they white or black?
He black.
The black people put that out there, right?
The black columnist by the name of Charles Blow. He's in that community, if you will, with the alphabet people. But he wrote up a whole narrative on Twitter behind, Pepe Le Pew being a rapist, for lack of better words.
Cartoons, right? They're violent, right? Can we end up getting rid of one of the greatest of all time, Popeye? Brutus used to beat the fuck out of Popeye. Used to fuck him up.
And they used to do tug of war with olive oil. So, I mean, that was a little rough, too.
I mean, if we don't just start censoring all this shit, go back and pull a lot of these movies. Go back and pull a lot of these movies, man. What's love got to do with it? Ike Turner gave you the blueprint on how to whoop it. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, you really ain't got shit else to do but go after a fucking cartoon skunk when you had far more violent animated characters. I want a warrant put out for Miss Piggy for attempted motherfucking murder of a frog.
Well, what about Elmer Fudd, gunning down and trying to gun down Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny? Just a straight out hunting them down and just doing what, he's got to do at gunpoint.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just think we better start waking up and seeing that there is an agenda. They being white supremacy, have already pretty much, gotten control over the black man. Black man is incarcerated, jobless, and a whole host of, not all, but enough. And then you have the effeminization of black men agenda going on. So now I got to attack the black woman, who's supposed to be the backbone of the Democratic Party, the backbone of black people and all that. Go and attack her, because get her young children, her young girls, because we know that not all, but black women, a lot of us are just asleep at the wheel. So get the younger generation. Let them think that all they have to offer is WAP, thinking their carnal desires, and talk about hot girl, city girl, and all those other things, opposed to the things that matter. Let's get them off kilter. Let's over sexualize their girls. And then, we'll completely wrap up the black race. That's really what this is about. Because again, if you didn't see them doing a woman like that, Ask yourself, why is it okay to do your woman like that? Because they trying to get rid of your black ass. That's why.
Yeah, and then another thing is you got a whole culture of young men that are now in their 30s or whatever that were raised by single mothers or whatever their situation was that think that this is perfectly acceptable and it's normal in a community. I'm not, there's always every sector of a society has your red light district or that, the seedy side of it, but it shouldn't be encompassing the whole culture of black people. But you have these young men that think this is the acceptable type society. Thus, we have what's going on now. Instead of going into survival mode, doing what you got to do other than selling pussy, what they're doing is they're outright doing it. They figure they could do nothing else but go out there and lay on their back to keep their nails done and to keep their hair done. That's their mode of survival. So what's the best way to destroy a community or a culture? Get to the women, have the women degrade themselves to a point to where people just are like done with it.
I really want you to think about, we got people dying from the COVID. People don't have money. People losing their houses. And one gay black motherfucker is sitting in his fucking house worrying about a fucking cartoon skunk. Dude, are you sick?
And the skunk is not even on the air anymore. You barely even see Looney Tune cartoons on the air at all.
He was supposed to be in Space Jam 2, but I guess they took him out or took out the scenes with him in it. So yeah, he's been canceled. I'm gonna get me a Pepe Le Pew shirt made very shortly here.
Yeah, you got a friend. And we can scream free Pimp C, we can scream free Pepe. But I'm not gonna stop. I think that all criminals should be in jail. I think that if we gonna cancel some shit, let's try this here. Now tell me if I get this wrong, y'all. We should cancel Scooby-Doo. Because it was a lot of people being kidnapped on that show, am I right? I think it had something to do with sex trafficking. I think they was abusing that dog in that van when they was still in that van, and the little girl with the glasses, she always seemed a little fucked up anyway. But I'm just telling you, Scooby-Doo reminds me of sex trafficking. Speed racer, street racing. Need to do something about that shit. I go through all of them. I watched them all. Sigmund the Sea Monster discriminated against fat people.
Walter was talking about wait till your father gets home, talking about was he too abusive. Y'all remember that cartoon? Wait till your father. Yeah, I mean, by that account, should nothing be on TV.
Yeah. Wait till your father get home. Had Tom Bosley as the voice of the father, but he had the white supremacist neighbor. That was acceptable.
We gonna start canceling. Go cancel the reruns of Archie Bunker. Since we trying to be so diverse and we don't want racism, you cancel Archie. You see what I'm saying? But I tell you what, they call me Mr. Tibbs. But they need to go watch it because Sidney Poitier slapped the fuck out of somebody in that movie. Yeah. But I really think they need to look into Scooby-Doo because that resembles sex trafficking to me. Think about it. Strange motherfuckers riding around in a fucking van,
right?
Snatching up motherfuckers. I'm just telling you, I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Right, and they're teenagers. They're running around in their vans and all this other stuff. Now, remember when women and hitchhikers were getting killed in the late 70s, early 80s? And then they're like, don't get in cars with strangers. What do we got now? We got Lyft and Uber.
The Dukes of Hazzard, like Al said, they didn't promote good safety in the car. They never wore a fucking seatbelt. But more importantly, they stayed violating the law. We need to get rid of all of these fucking shows We need to get rid of all of them. She over there laughing, but we need to get rid of all of them. I'm telling y'all, it was something going on in that motherfucking van with that dog. Yeah, you getting that wood? Put your ass in that van.
Maybe they were selling ice cream out the van. Who knows?
Well, wait. You guys remember those shows in the morning?
Oh,
You know, you had the Penelope
pussy with the pussycats.
Yeah,
Joseph was selling pussy with the pussycats, man.
that's exactly Penelope Pitstop. She's with all those dudes in the airplane. You know what's going on here?
We need to get rid of a bunch of this shit. I knew Joseph was a hoe. I'm being honest with you. Look, on the real, that's one of the finest little cartoon motherfuckers I ever seen. Just had a little, I'm 7, 8 years old, just sitting on the front TV, big hard as crap iron, looking at the little girl, man. On the motherfucking Joseph and the Pussycats, man.
Wait, I got one and I never understood this. What the hell did Jabberjaws actually really mean? You see what I'm saying?
Say, man, it's some nasty shit been going on in television programming. But I mean, how do you just sit around and come up with this type of shit? You just come up with this type of shit. But that motherfucking pig going to jail. I'm gonna see if I can get a state rep to write a motherfucking law to get Miss Piggy sent to the penitentiary.
Oh my God, these poor children ain't gonna have nothing to watch. They're gonna be staring at a blank TV pretty soon. I mean, really though.
Wait, real quick. Didn't Ernie and Bert come out as gay? Didn't they come out as gay?
Say, man, let me ask you a question. How you take a Sesame Street character and turn him gay? We've never seen them indulge in anything like this. It's some freaky shit been going on, and we've been sitting there as kids watching it. And that's why some of us is fucked up till this day. I'm fucked up just sitting here thinking about all this shit. And I'm having flashbacks about Josie as we sit here and talk. I can't even stand up no more.
So in regards to Megan and Cardi B, has the backlash mostly been in the Black community, or has it been mostly in the white community? Like I said, I didn't see it, so I don't watch that stuff. So, I mean, are the white people outraged, or they're like, "Oh yes, let her express herself. Yes, what a great performance."
Ain't none of they people was half naked. They don't give a damn.
I've seen a lot of white people pretty mad about it, you know, thinking I mean, I don't know why nowadays you would think you could watch the Grammys and it'd be wholesome entertainment. I've seen that comment, but I've seen people from all over pretty much mad about it. Like, wow. You know, I think Trevor Noah, he said something about the kids, tell them that WAP was something else, but I think they should have done a little bit more by saying that, you know, if you got some kids in there, maybe you want to excuse them at this time, but they didn't do that. And so isn't that also the same network that Janet Jackson caught all that backlash over when Justin Timberlake whipped her boob out on TV? Wasn't she all kind of censored and all kind of stuff like that? And then here they go having Cardi and Megan on there grinding on each other. And it's just like, wow. But again, ask yourself, why your woman and not their woman?
And then, you know, like I said, I believe rap is a very, very hard art form. Not everybody can rap, as we know. But again, you know, I know performance is a part of it, but they couldn't just, you know, rather sexualize themselves. They couldn't find something else that they can do. Yeah, Al's talking about Oscar living in a trash can. Yeah,
They
we're
promoted
homelessness
homelessness.
issue. Yes.
They promoted homelessness. Say, man, we go back, pull all that shit out. We go
The
back, pull
first
it
thing
all
I
out.
was
They didn't
thinking
have a
about.
problem. They didn't have a problem with Oscar living in a fucking garbage can, but you got a problem with Joe sleeping up on the freeway.
And again, I mean, Lucy was abusive to Charlie Brown. She called him everything but a child of God. And, you know, he was physically harmed in her presence a few times. I mean, we could go on and on, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, here's this man trying to. Here's this man trying to practice his football and all this other stuff. And all she had to do was hold the football, and she keeps snatching it every time he comes to kick the ball, which could incur a serious back injury or ACL sprain.
I tell you no. We can go back and look at it. Pig Pen. Remember Pig Pen? That was with Charlie Brown. Used to have a blanket and be dusty. Had the dust coming from it. They have a problem with a motherfucker walking around like he was funky. You ain't got a problem teaching kids poor hygiene. How the fuck you put a cartoon character together and have him walking around with dust flying off his ass? Yeah, all of it need to go.
Wait. And you think about it, Peppermint Patty and her friend, what was her friend's name? There was kind of a lesbian connotation
Marcy.
there. Yeah, Marcy. Yeah, there was a lesbian connotation there if you really look back and see, because Marcy was kind of always kind of jealous when Peppermint Patty would talk about Chuck.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait. Y'all forgot this element too. Remember, Lucy was always stalking Linus, laying on top of his piano and stuff, and that looked like some sexual harassment to me.
That was sexual harassment across the board. They need to get rid of all this shit. I think they need to get rid of all. I'm gonna call a press conference when I get back to Houston. I swear to God, I'm gonna call a press conference. They need to get rid of all this shit. It's been some stalking, some raping, animal cruelty, all kind of shit. Look at what they used to do to Scooby-Doo. That was animal cruelty. If Michael Vick had did that shit, they would have never let him out of jail.
My daughter told me it was Sally. Sally is the one that was lying on Linus's, and that's Charlie Brown's sister. Was lying
sister,
on Linus's piano, stalking him and all of that. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, it's like how far? And obviously, we're being silly, but so is canceling the freaking skunk. You know, it's like how far are we willing to go in society to I don't even know why. You know what the purpose behind him, Charles Blow, was to doing that, but it's like no one's safe.
Yeah. Curtis Chavez says, and then they take Betty Boop and turned her white. Exactly. The real origin of Betty Boop was a black lady that was a flapper in the 1920s.
And Janelle Dunn say Scooby-Doo and Shaggy used to smoke weed and had the munchies all the time. So you promoting dope. Now you promoting dope. You ain't got no problem with your cartoon character smoking dope, but you don't want to legalize marijuana. Man, all them motherfuckers finna get canceled.
Okay, my daughter says you are tripping again. Okay, so it was Sally that was harassing Schroeder. Okay, who was it? It was Lucy.
Schroeder, yeah. Schroeder was the piano guy.
Lucy was harassing Schroeder. Okay. Somebody asked about Kirk Franklin and his son. Gary?
I think the only thing that Kirk did not do was follow through on the threat and put his foot in his son's ass.
I mean,
see, and right there, that is the prototypical A1 answer any father would come up with at that point. You living off my dime, and you got the nerve to challenge, you know, whatever your issue is with me at 33 years old. I will stomp a mud hole in your ass. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I think the son, if you guys lived under a rock in the last couple of days, didn't know what was going on, Kirk Franklin's son decided to record a conversation between them two. And Kirk Franklin was pretty vexed, for lack of better words. And he said some pretty choice words I think we've all heard and said, a couple times in our lives from our parents, or as being a parent, we've said. And he tried to do a got you moment with him. He released a recording of his father cussing him out and threatening him. But, what people didn't realize is, and I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that his son pissed him off and recorded it, and put out the parts that where he got his father pissed off. I don't think, it takes a rocket scientist. But the part that's perplexing to me is I've seen a few people in the Christian community, talk about how dare he's a man of God. Why is he talking this way? And he shouldn't be talking to his son like that. And I'm like, what's wrong with y'all?
Let me say this here, man. First of all, the Big Hat Gang don't run a motherfucking thing around here. They don't run nothing. They got a problem with Kirk Franklin because they caught up in all that bullshit ass church shit that's going on. Kirk Franklin is a man. I don't care what his sexuality is, if it changes, that doesn't matter. I see a man. And a man ain't finna sit there and let no another man, not a kid, because a lot of motherfuckers keep hollering about his grown son. No, you can't be grown and be a kid at the same motherfucking time. This is a 33-year-old fucking man living off his daddy's dime. And you think you gonna talk to him like that? Kirk, if you need a pair of shoes, I got an extra set of Nikes. Make his bitch ass read these Nikes, man. You don't get to talk to your father like that. Fuck you. It's a setup across the board. You didn't air the therapist part. You didn't air what the fuck you said to make him go off. So I don't want to hear that shit. Those that feel, oh, he's a man of God, you goddamn right I am too. And I will lay these motherfucking hands on you.
And then if you think about it, it'd be one thing if Kirk was never in his life and didn't do nothing for him. I could understand the son being disappointed or upset. But obviously he's living off of his father. So what more did you expect out of the man? The son is out of line, just straight out the bat. If he caught the two-piece, that's deservedly so. You deserve a two-piece for that kind of shit, because your dad was there for you, whatever the aspect was. And this is the type of shit that you're going to do to take bread off this man's table, to ruin whatever reputation that he has. Because we know in public, what people see is what, your image is. And if you are trying to destroy your dad's image, which destroys his coin. And this man was there for you all of your life.
These celebrities with they fucked up kids, don't nobody want to hear other shit. We got other shit to worry about. You had Lawrence Fishburne's daughter get out there and make some porno tapes. You see, when embarrass her father to the fullest, ain't have to do none of that shit. You see what I'm saying? You got a whole bunch of celebrities' kids that got motherfucking issues, man. You see what I'm saying? And they feel like they're entitled. They entitled to their parents' money. Bitch, get out there and make your own money. Kirk don't owe this nigga nothing, man. Let's get something straight. I'm saying one last time. Kurt a grown-ass man. He wasn't finna sit there and let that youngster handle him like that. He wasn't supposed to. And for those that feel like he should have, and he should have dealt with the counseling, that's the reason your motherfucking kid whooping your ass right now.
Absolutely. And I think, what also that illustrated was a false sense of entitlement that a lot of grown children have. And I talk about my child all the time. She doesn't have any kids or anything like that yet. But, I think about a lot of these grandparents out there now. They're grown kids fully expect for, their parents to raise their children. And they want to be mad at them if they don't want to raise their children. Yeah, I've raised you. Why do I need to continue raising your children? And that's something I've always told my daughter. I would that if you decide to have a child, you have one with your husband, whoever that may be, and so y'all can raise a child together. Because mama ain't gonna be raising no more kids. You know, I love them, they my grandkids and all of that. But as far as you thinking that's something I gotta do,
Let me tell you something else that the celebrity kids seem to forget. You growing up in Beverly Hills, you growing up in them fancy penthouses in New York, your motherfucking people grew up in the bricks. Don't let the smooth taste fool you on some of these celebrities. These motherfuckers grew up hard in the hood, man. You motherfuckers walk around here with your bodyguard, but you forgot your daddy pay for them. So if you want to disrespect them, motherfuckers go hood on you. Can you ever imagine Master P kids going left on him like that?
Oh my goodness, my goodness. But that's kind of a good subject, because I get in a lot of big conversations with friends of mine. I have friends that say, "Oh, Donovan, you got to leave your kids something. You got to leave them." No, I got to leave them a goddamn thing. Liquid. I'm going to live my life and what money I have left to my benefit. Grandkids, whatever. I'm not that grandfather. I'm not that person that's going to be, "Oh, well, leave the kids here." Nope, take them with you. I'm just going around the corner, Dad. Nope, take them with you. Don't leave them here. But, you got a lot of people that believe that, "Oh, well, I'm going to leave my kids all this," right? And that's good and great if you want to do that. But what good is leaving your grandkids or whatever all of this money, or the house that's been in the generations for 4 generations, and you never taught them to pay property tax? You never taught them to pay a bill, and then they lose it anyway. I tell my sons all the time, go out there and get your own. I've done my job. If I don't ever see you again in life, I've done my job. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. But my point is, I had to do what I had to do. So why shouldn't you do what you have to do legally to make it? I'm here to help you, but I'm not here to continue to assist a grown man in a lifestyle that he can't afford.
Say, man, the ones that disagree with it, they the ones that got these fucked up kids out here, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to raise a child. It's not hard to raise them with respect. Kirk Franklin's son was totally out of line. I tell y'all something, man. Have an opinion on your motherfucking house. Get out of Kirk's house. Get out of his motherfucking house. How he handle it is his business. He got more than enough money to handle it any way he chooses to handle it. I just think he did it the right way. He said what he needed to say. I don't think you should have apologized for any fucking thing. You didn't have to. The rule was simple, and y'all just keep violating it. If I brought you in this world, I'll take your motherfucking ass out. But y'all changed the rule. I brought you in this world. Now I'm going to let you kick my ass for the next 20 years.
No, yeah, that's not how it works. My father always says, especially when you have unruly children, no matter how old they are, let your knowledge take you where your knowledge is going to take you. And he always says, if you can't take my advice, you can't take my money either. Get up away from me with your nonsense and your ignorance, because as he always says too, you can't impose your ignorance upon me. I know better. And because you don't have knowledge and you're limited in your thinking, you want me to bow down. Ooh, I sound like my daddy for real. Now you want me to bow down to you, and you don't know enough. So let your knowledge take you where it's going to take you, but you're not going to, hold me hostage because you feel in a certain type of way. And I always tell you guys, I learned to be a parent. My daughter was spoiled, if you will, when she was 1. And my mom's best friend told my daughter's father and I, she said, you guys don't love your daughter. You're in love with your daughter. Because when you're in love with somebody, you let them do any and everything they want to do because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to see them cry. But when you love somebody, you say things to them that may hurt their feelings, but it's on a need to know basis. And so a lot of people are just raising their children because they're in love with them, which is how you're getting, I hate to say it, but a lot of Pookies and your Ray Rays and your hot girls and all of them, because mama and daddy or whoever's raising them thought they were so cute and didn't make them do nothing and all of that. And then they get out into the world and have the nerve to try to get into a relationship with somebody and take that person through hell and high water. So, I don't know, but it just wouldn't be me. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, Donovan, final thoughts, my friend.
Well, final thoughts again for those of you guys. Remember, today is $2 Tuesdays. If you donated, we really appreciate it. We thank you, thank you, thank you. I donated. Y'all getting y'all stimulus checks, so there's no excuse why you can't drop a little tip into the campaign fund. And like I said, you don't have to wait till Tuesday. You can drop all throughout. His Cash App is out there. We're gonna get Gary on that school board because we need our candidate on there to get our students what they need. Black one first. Gary is about the Black kids first, and everybody else, that'll be great. So continue to support Jerry in going to the school board. And again, you guys, please continue to support Black media, because you're not going to get stories like this and influential thought than you do through the Black media.
Final thoughts, Ms. Demetra.
I would just say this, just to take the full circle to your Cardi B and your Megan Thee Stallion. And I'm going to speak to the women out there, because, the woman is the first teacher. We are the circle of influence for our children. You had better get very clear about the messages you want your daughters to receive. If you are not your child's role model, then somebody like a Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion will be. Now, I don't know if that's how they are in their personal life, but the image that they project to your children is very damaging. So, straighten up yourself as parents, and I'm speaking to mothers specifically, and be a good role model to your daughter. Otherwise, they'll drink in what they see them doing. And that's an act, more or less. That won't get them very far. Blac Chyna can get an OnlyFans and make $13 million a month. But your daughter won't be doing that. More than likely, she'll end up somewhere that's a lot less glamorous than where those ladies are. And so get very clear on the type of children you want to release out into the world, and guard their minds and the things that they see.
I'm going to finish it up by saying it's $2 Tuesdays. Thank you for those that have donated, whether it's $2, whether it's $20, whatever. We're going to make sure that we're able to do the things that we need to do on this run. My opponent thought it was a laughing matter when I told her I was going to kick her ass. But I'm cool with that, because I'm going to kick your ass in November. I promise you that. So, I have to put Black children first, because they're the least, the last, the lost. And we got to make sure we take care of them. So I appreciate Donovan for always plugging the school board run, Demetra for always plugging the school board run. But I want to challenge you guys. There's a petition that's out on my page from Noel Pinnock. And it's designed to help get rid of white supremacists in law enforcement. I need you guys to look at that petition. I need you to sign that petition, man. Go to my page, just sign the petition, man. You sign all that other bullshit. I'm about to put one together too to get rid of all these nasty ass cartoon characters. I bet you sign that one. So, thank y'all for believing in me, bro. But we got a long way to go. I'm down here in Minnesota. It snowed. It stopped snowing. It's really cold, and it's hard to move around right now. But the thing is the people know we here. It is what it is. And tomorrow I'm gonna fight. Got a caller. I'm back. Tamira Rice is on a rant, just like Mike Brown daddy, with Black Lives Matter, Benjamin Crump. I talked to my sister today. She say 5-star, I want to come on. She lit into Tamika Mallory yesterday. She has something she need to say. I just want her to know the war zone supports you, because we know that these people are some parasites and some crooks, and they using these kids' deaths as a means to line their pockets. So let me fight and see if I can get on the show ASAP. But if not, y'all know how we do. We're going to bring that heat anyway when we come. So it is what it is. And thank y'all so much for taking the time out every night. I want to say that, to tune in to us and hang out with us. I really appreciate it.
Bluetooth connected.
Let's go. Say, man, it's a reason we the best in the business. It's the War Zone every night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Facebook and YouTube. I want to thank my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Until tomorrow night. Ain't no business like hoe business, Megan and Cardi. Need to get your mind right, sister. Represent yourself a little bit better. Let's see if you can do a song, Megan, with the queen herself. That'll tell you if you got something. Until tomorrow night, we'll holler at you.